wanted to addend.
This class has got me in the habit of opening multiple shells. Just to be ready.
Be ready.
Alright.
All right. So last time we had worked on our local.sh, right? So from a blue team perspective, what things would you notice if somebody was running this as a backdoor?
I would notice in my processes lots of NC happening, right? Because we're
So
talking
you notice
about,
NC.
I'm going to notice a local.sh as well, right?
Yeah, and so what would be your way, right? So if you killed NC,
And local sh kept running. What we
yeah, it restarts, right? So is there a way where we could make it so that it would, right? Because if you kill local.sh, right, it's not going to spawn anymore, and then it's all done, right? Because otherwise they're like zombies, right? They just keep coming, right? The shells.
So we got to kill it at the source,
Mm-hmm.
which is killing local.sh. Now how, so a good attacker, a good red team guy is going to do something that's innocuous looking, right?
Well, there might be several things that they would do, right? So, I've done red team exercises. So starting something like this, depending on your version of Netcat, right, is one that we can do. The other one is your normal login process, right? So, right, SSH uses SSH keys, right? So that is a really easy one. Adding local accounts, right? So adding a local account that looks like something that would be in there would be useful. But one of the things that we'd like to do is we'd like for this to make it harder for them to kill it, right? So if they kill local.sh, we're DOA, right? So if we started in the background, they kill local.sh, they kill netcat, then we're all done. And so, and this, again, almost all these tools, right, can be used for, good or bad, right? They're tools, it's like a hammer, right? You can use a hammer to hit a nail or a head, either
You
one.
build a house for somebody to live in and stay warm, or you can smash them in the head and kill them. It's a tool.
I thought you were
Both
gonna say
ways,
hit
they
someone
have
with a
different
house.
problems than they had before.
Now they have a house, they have to deal with.
Okay, so what we're going to look at is we're going to look at a cron tab or cron. So cron, and there's a similar command in Windows that allows us to, at a particular time, run some process. Right, so as I've been helping Adam, right, he has had this thing where he syncs his files like one time when he boots, right? And maybe he would like it to be continuous or something a little bit different. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a cron file, and that is going to specify, we have these different fields about when this would run, right? So I think literally cron wakes up like once a minute in order to check, does it need to do something, right? And so you have granularity up to the minute of the day for it to run. But we can also specify, so we can specify minute, 0 through 59, hour, 0 through 23, day of month, 1 through 31, month 1 through 12, and day of the week, 0 through 7. So a lot of times, what we would used to do is the first of every month we would do something like a full backup, and then every other day of the month, right, we would do an incremental backup for our system. And so we're going to end up specifying these all in, I don't know if they, we have some examples here. So we can see that, so star means any, and then if you give it a specific number, that means at, right, 5 minutes after midnight, so minute 5, hour 0, any, oh, what is the order? It's usually like a, this must be day of month, and then I think day of week, and then what's the last one? It's 10 p.m. Where are your kids?
Or first and 15th, so you can do a comma too if you want, first 15th.
Yeah, you can do a comma or a dash
And then you
to denote the different.
each month, but you can specify 6th month, 12th month, first month, each
Yep.
month, gotcha.
Normally, you want to do every month, but you know, for example, you might want to run a full backup the first of the year, and maybe have it called something different, right? And we can add as many of these lines as we want. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it.
5th and 4:30 on first and 15th of each month, plus every Friday. That last one is.
Oh, come on. There we go. I think this is a good one. I've also, a lot of times we'll put a header on so you can see which thing it is. So we got minute, hour, day of month, month of year, day of week. And I think you can use sun for some versions of cron, right? So different versions will accept a slightly different syntax for that. Normally it's 0 through 7. And then the last thing that we're going to do is the script that we want to run. Okay.
So is the cron tag usually at BTC?
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a plain text file so we can learn how to easily import it and edit it. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this. So I'm going to make a file called cron.txt.
Where are we making that? Just
It doesn't matter where you make it. I'm putting it in my bad guy directory. You can put it anywhere.
so we're just gonna create. You called it a what again?
Cron.txt. You can call it anything you want.
So then you make the header just so you know what's going on.
Yeah, because it's easy to forget like which field is what. So on every minute of every hour of every day of every month of every day of the week, right, it's just running the command date, as Adam and I were talking about running, so you can see the date. And then, so when you run something in cron, it's running in the background. So I will never see the user input for our cron task that runs unless it crashes or has an error, and then you'll get a mail message, right? So there's like a local mailbox on most Unix systems that it'll get sent to.
So it's always in the background.
Yep. And so normally what you want to do is you want to use output redirection. So you notice I have the double arrows, right? So that, does anybody remember what double arrows means?
A pen, right?
It means append. So I don't want to overwrite. I want to append to the end of it, to my log, the results of my command.
And then you're just taking it to a cron log.
Yeah, and the other thing, right, so this is running in the background. So I almost always put in paths to things. Now I didn't do that for date, but normally you would want to do that, right? So you want to give it the full path to it, because otherwise, sometimes, depending on what environment cron is running in, things will not be where you thought that they were. So you'll try and run a cron task and it'll be like, command not found. And you're like, no, but when I run it, it's fine.
Now, it's okay that I have a ton of spaces with all those stars, right?
Yep.
It's not a big deal. Okay. So then that's our cron.txt, we can save that.
Okay. So once you've decided what you want to put inside of there, then we're going to use the cron command in order to add it. So man cron. Okay. So probably the, let's see if I can find them here. Oh, it's not showing it. Oh, cron tab.
Is that second line with the asterisk in the command, is that still part of the comment header, or is that actually?
The second line is the actual
Okay.
cron. It is saying a task that we're going to run.
Okay.
So you're in cron tab.
So cron tab maintains these cron tab files for each user. So every user has a cron tab associated with them. Now most of the times it's empty, right? So it's not going to run anything. But if you want to make one, we're going to use these different ones. So if I say cron tab and then I say a file name, it'll install that as my cron file. So let me show you what it looks like currently. Maybe. Do this one. All right.
So there's no cron tab.
Well, we don't have one. So the other thing is that they have a different editor. So, you know, if you guys like Nano or Ed, you can use that. I'm going to use Vim for my editor. So it'll ask you that the first time. And then it does give you a nice sample here, right? Minute, hour, day of month, month, day of week, command. Right?
Did you use Vim Basic?
I did pick, yeah, Vim Basic. But you can pick any one of them. But as you can see, we don't have any uncommented lines in this file by default. Okay? And if I do colon Q, so I didn't do anything, so E is to edit, and then if I don't give it anything, well, if I do an L for list, it'll show me what's in it, and it's saying I don't have anything in it. And then if I say cron tab, cron.txt, that's going to install cron.txt as my cron tab file. Okay?
Cron.
So I say cron tab space cron.txt. And now when I
install, and it's, can you, this is the only cron.txt you can use. It can't read from multiple, like I can't have cron2, cron3.
correct, we have one.
One
Now-
cron.txt.
You can edit it, right, in the editor. I always find it easier to put it in a file, right, if I want to do something repeatedly, just so I can edit that file normally. But you don't have to do that. But then if I want to edit it, I'd rather use a file. That's just my personal preference.
So cron tab, cron.txt, and that will install it.
And then if I do a cron tab minus L, we can see that
It's in there now.
now my file is installed as my cron tab.
So anytime you update your cron.txt, you have to reinstall, right?
Or you can edit it.
Or
right?
you just edit the
I find personally I find it easier to edit the file, because if I want to add something, I can just add it to the file and then just tell cron tab to reinstall the new one.
So yeah, you just edit cron.txt.
That's my
and
personal preference, because it's actually stored. I don't even know where.
it stores.
I don't recall where it stores your personal cron tab.
So the process to update is you would just do vim cron.txt, do your change, and then cron tab cron.txt.
Yep. And then as we look down here, we see that we have cronlog.txt. And we can see that at 10:34 in 2 seconds, my job ran, and then 10:35 in 1 second. Then probably here pretty soon at 10:36. Now a command that I do like, I do like the tail command. So tail will give you the bottom of the file, right? -F will follow it. So as there's updates, you'll see those. And that's really useful if you're going through logs. So if you want to see, like, for example, if Angel is on my computer, he might want to see when I log on, right? So he might be tailing what log?
What if it's not creating that, or do you have to create cronlog.txt first?
Well, so you can see when I ran my command, right? I did the output to this. You don't have to create it beforehand. Once you have it installed, it should be, it'll create that, the append will create it the first time it writes it, and then keep appending to it.
I don't have that file though, it's not showing up.
Did you install it? If you do cron tab -L, does it show your?
Yes. Crontab -L shows it. And then there's no cronlog.txt.
I'm not getting it. You had a.
You gotta give it the right path. So you'd have to say /home/CSIT corporation. You have to give it full path?
So I
So you
did
type
that.
PWD.
So I just gotta go with PW, that's fine.
That
Okay.
will tell you your actual directory.
That's how you find
Yours is in root, not in
PWD.
print working.
Yeah, I know that.
Present working directory or print working directory, one
I've
of the
done
two.
it a bunch of times.
I didn't even make like a paper with all the commands.
That just printed a lot of K's.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, good, I got it, okay.
Okay.
Alright, what am I doing here? Alright, I'm trying to fix my cron up too. That's what I'm doing. So it's going to be root log. So now cron tab, cron, txt, cron tab, dash L, root log, cron log. So now it should actually be in there, right? No, it's not.
So did you reinstall your new cron tab?
Yeah, I did. Oh, I still have a, sorry, it's still a syntax problem. If I could get my syntax right, it would work, I'm sure.
Yeah, still not working.
Oh. Alright, so, dash L,
-L showing right directory.
root log cron tab, okay? Now let's get in there and see if it's actually there. It's not there.
Now it is, what the heck?
So, okay, so root log cronlog.txt. I am in root
Type date.
logs.
It's gonna do it once a minute. Have you waited a minute?
No, I haven't waited a minute.
That was my
No.
problem.
Not even remotely.
No. No.
It didn't show up.
Now I
when it
waited.
did, That would be why.
You do it at the top of the minute.
So would this show up then at each stop as a process?
Hot top. So now
So
we're
you
gonna
would
say-
probably never see
There it
it.
is.
Because
Boom.
you would have to know to look inside that users directory for it to start running.
So, I could do my set time.
How do you know what the time is?
Date. Right? And then I'd have to cut through it. Or I could just use my get date, which comes off the internet.
Yeah, I would do that.
But I just gotta put that get date path in my cron.
So
cron
this is the
TXT.
kind of thing that would then be used with, say, like a keylogger to periodically send you, you'd run a command that would send you updates on.
Yeah, so you could use it to rsync data, right? So a lot of times, that's what I would do, right? So if I wanted my data to be synced every minute, right, you could do that. If I wanted it just synced at night, I mean, sysadmins use it a lot for backing up data, right? So if you're going to create a backup, it's
So
really easy
0
to tar-g zip something, and then run an rsync command in order to
11th hour.
either push or pull data one direction or the other.
We're in here every day, or no, not every day. We're in here only. So if I wanted to do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Well, you could put any day of the week, right? Because anytime you have your computer on.
So Sunday. It
Or
goes
s-
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So 0, 1,
So here's the $1 million question.
3.
That isn't gonna work very well for him because we're not keeping the date proper, remember? Because the UC-MOS battery's crap.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so
Unless, because
It
the first
will-
thing that happens is I set
If you
my
would leave
date.
the computer on the entire time, then it would be fine.
well, so
No, it'll check. So I'll get the get date, and then it'll check the get date, and then if the get date falls in between here, it'll actually execute it, right?
yeah, so you could totally do that, right? And like I've used that, like a Raspberry Pi, like the date will be off, and so you can pull the date from internet servers. Like you can actually pull it from Google.
Actually.
Right, so you can get the date from Google and then put that in as your current date and time.
Well, that's actually what that script
So-
I got does.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
what it does?
It's
And
that you
currently-
get from Google.
I log on, it gets the date, and then the cron tab will run a minute later and see that it's within that range, and then it'll run my transfers, right? Because right now, just for experience, I'm trying to set it up at the 0 minute of the 11th hour, which we're in here,
At the 11th hour.
on the. So is it 0 through 6 in terms of day of the week, or is it 1 through 7?
It's 0 through 7, but 0 and 7 are both Sundays.
So
Okay.
asterisks
So
in all
Sunday,
fields.
Monday, Tuesday,
Just
Wednesday,
what-
Thursday.
You could
Friday.
do asterisks in all fields, and then it would do any day.
I just want to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday
Okay.
at 11 o'clock.
So you would put 1 through
It'd be 1 through 5.
5. Yep.
1, 3, 5. It's just Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Oh,
Not Tuesdays, because we're not in here doing that.
because clearly, why would we want to do something when the computer's not doing it?
Exactly.
Because it's not on.
So I'll only have it 1 through
There
5.
you go, yes, so you can do
11th
that.
hour, and then I give it root transfer, which is the transfer function,
Yep.
and then boom, it should do it. Okay, let's just.
So.
And
yeah, it's
if
just
you
a-
want to test it, right, you could set it for like 11 or 10:40.
10:40, 10:50 maybe.
Yeah, and it's actually, it'd be the 10th hour, right?
So it would be the 10th.
Right, because its class is at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it's the 10th hour at the 50th minute, right? On Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay, escape. Let me make sure I have my right file path. Transfer, pwd, root, transfer. Okay, so let's install this. Oops. Crontab on.txt. Alright, so now let's just crontab -l. Alright, it's in there. So now I should see a documentation of that in my cron log, right?
Yeah.
In about 4 minutes. So how do I, let's see, I can tail -f for follow, right?
Mm-hmm.
How would you tell it to execute a file with the cron log? What's the command?
Execute a file. What do you
You
mean?
just put in the.
I
path
wanted
of
to
the
run
file,
my
right?
script to set the date.
Okay, so if your script has hashtag bang /bin/bash,
Yeah,
you just put that in there as the command you run.
just the
So
file.
you give it the full path to that script.
And then it'll just run it, right?
Yep.
So if I do root /
You
transfer.
put the full path, right? /root/transfer.
Then it'll run.
Yep.
Yep.
And then send your log data to the append it to your log file
Oh, I didn't do that. I better do that.
because you want to see like if it crashes because you did something wrong. You want to see that.
So I need to. Yep, that's correct. So let's.
Okay, so wait a minute and see if it updates the date.
So I got the date working. I need to get root
Sunday, January 1st,
Log.
2012.
on log.txt. All right. So that should done for me. Contact.
And you could just put another entry in under the one that we did.
Yep. You can put as many as you want.
Tab dash L.
I
All right.
usually try and line them up so that they all
Right.
I can read them.
It's what I did.
So
Everyone loves space formatting.
that's good. Now, if we're doing this whole, we're just doing date. If we wanted to be totally precise, we would like,
Yep, it works.
we would which date and find the full root of that. Right? If we're being like extremely precise.
Yeah. So it looks like date is working, so I wouldn't worry about
Wouldn't
it.
worry about it.
But
If it's not, then I can which
in
date.
general, right? Be like a Boy Scout and be prepared.
Yeah.
So
So which date would give me user bin date, and then I put that in there, right?
yeah.
So
But
is
as
there,
of now,
is there any issues I have to worry about with every time this computer's on, every minute it's going to update the date? Because that's basically.
Well, so what I was going to talk about until we went down this rabbit hole, which is a nice rabbit hole to be in.
Right.
There's no snakes, so it's okay. Was trying to decide, right? So we have our script, right, local.sh, that if somebody kills it, we want to start it again. So we might want to only do it periodically, right? So we want to make some decision on it. So you could do a comparison of the dates and see how far off they are.
and then so you can do an
And
if
then-
statement in there
Yeah, you could put it in your bash, right? You could have an if statement saying,
in your get date.
yeah,
Gotcha. In your
So-
get date, you can do your bash.
that would be interesting to see because you're gonna have to parse that date string.
Yeah.
So I don't know how.
That might take a little bit longer. maybe.
Yeah. It
Probably
would.
longer than we have. But that would be.
But what we want to do here, right? So we're going to try and sort of solve this problem in ours, right? So we want to make sure that local.sh is running. And so how could we see if local.sh is running?
we can ps aux, right? Grep local.sh.
Yeah. And so one thing to note, so if I do ps aux and I pipe that into grep,
When do, okay, in grep, when do you have to use quotations and not quotations?
so you have to use quotations if you have spaces.
Okay. If you have
or if you have
spaces.
special characters.
Like a
I
local.sh.
Hmm?
Local.sh, you probably want to use.
No, I mean you could do that. But like if you're using asterisk,
Gotcha.
if the asterisk means something in the expression which is different than the file system asterisk, you want.
So if you did
It's not bad.
local.star, yeah.
It's
gotcha.
not bad to add quotes, right?
Gotcha.
I think it's better safe than sorry again to do that.
Okay, alright. That's
So
what I
one
was
thing
wondering.
we notice here is that we've got two entries, right? So we have the fact that it's running. We also have the fact that we ran grep, and inside grep we look for the word local.
Should I get my local sh running? Probably, maybe.
You can, right? So I have mine running so that I can see it,
Okay.
right? So a bad thing about running it in the pipe is you're going to see the grep command. So the way to avoid that is do your PS and send it to a file, and then grep on that file. And so we can grep the file to look for local.sh. So if I run that, and then I do grep, I have to put my path in here, temp,
I mean, this is just a random, right? .txt.
yeah, I just put ps.txt, but you could use a random. Right, so if I run these two commands in sequence, then I will see that I have one entry.
Now, can
in
I
there.
psox into a file and then directly grep that? No, I can't. Can I grep from that file?
Well, so I think it's easier to do it in two steps, but you can do it in one. You just have to know that you might end up with multiples depending on what you're doing. So for example, when you start Python, you might end up with 2 or 3 processes. But what we can do is we can then, right, so if it's running, great. If it's not, what do we get? If I do my PS and I do my grep, I don't get anything. So a couple ways you could do this. You could pipe that grep into word count, and I can see that I don't have any lines, or word count minus L. And I see that it has 0 lines, and then I can put that inside my if statement. So I created another file, what did I call it? Check.sh. So in check.sh, I'm going to do my PS.
So we're gonna do a new file, right?
Yep, I'm making a new file, and this is what I'm going to put in my cron. So this will let me check if I need to restart local.sh.
So we're gonna call this just a check.sh.
Yep, that's what I called mine.
Shebang. Okay, so we're gonna check it. So we're gonna create our file, right? First.
You can literally just VI it. You don't have to touch it. It'll create it when you get done writing.
Then we need to grep that, right?
Yep.
Or did you want to do the word count first? Is that what we're
Well,
doing?
we'll do this whole line here, right? Now let's see if I can get this syntax right.
Oh, so we're making a variable out of it.
Yeah, I think this will work.
No spaces, right? That's weird. That looks weird, but
Then you need the quotations to
Okay.
say that entire command is
So
variable.
if you use the back quotes, it will go ahead and execute this as a separate command.
how do you do back quotes?
It's the one above the tab key on my keyboard.
Oh, okay, I see.
Or tilde or
It's a
whatever.
backtick, I think is
Yeah, I
what
see
most
that.
people call it.
Back to.
Right, so that will run an entire command, and the output of that gets assigned to the variable as opposed to getting spit out to the standard out. Right, so it's a way to. You'll see it in a lot of scripts. You'll see, right? Angel, we've probably seen some scripts that do that, right?
Now the pound sign is the comment sign, right? Again.
Yeah, pound sign is comment. So my bash syntax is always a little iffy here, because my bash is like my Python. I have to look everything up. So how do I turn that into a number? Bash string to
Int.
number. I think its syntax is weird, so. So it looks like, let's see if this works. Well, we could actually compare it to the string 0, because I think that's what we're getting, right?
So if WC is nothing, it should be string 0, right?
Yeah, right. If we don't have anything, then we get the string 0. So if
If X.
$X, oh, big X, is EQ, I think. Again,
And then
my
nothing.
then. Well, I think that's our syntax. Oh, I
Oh,
put my
apostrophe after the do job.
Ah.
Or semicolon. So if semicolon then 5, 2 spaces. X. So EQ is equals, right?
Yep.
And then you have nothing after equals indicating zeros.
Oh, no, I need to put, if that string is equal to the string 0, there we go. Yep.
Strings. And then a space after that, okay? Then we're gonna start it up, right? Alright, I gotta get my Oop. I gotta get my GWB
I'm gonna have to change some directories around, so I have to type somewhere.
there. Alright, let's see.
It would be cool to have stuff in separate
Local
folders
dot-
when you need to type out the path every time.
Root dot bag I have. Line check.
What's the ampersand at the end of it do? Oh, that's right.
I think I should be able to start it in the background.
Dot bag.
I'm hoping. One of these things we can start in the background.
Oh gosh, I hope I got that right. Local.sh. Starting it up, go! Oh yeah, there it is.
Hey.
So echoes are a lot like our print line commands in Java. We use them profusely for troubleshooting.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Well, and I want to see that it gets started up. So here I put my full path to my script. You guys also need to make sure it's executable.
So how do I
So-
copy and paste that again? Is it V, capital V?
So you can highlight it.
How do I hide? Can I just, whoops. Escape V.
So just
that right there.
yeah, and I think if you go edit, it's like Control-Shift-C, I think. And then go to where you want to paste it.
And delete.
Oh.
Did I mess me there? No, I don't think it. And then I want to paste it in my cron, right?
Yeah.
And I should be able to. Do I need to do an insert mode or do I need not an insert?
So I would go to this line up here and do. So get out and hit escape.
Okay.
Do YY to copy a line. And then type P for put. Now you have a copy of that line, and go ahead and now put that, go over here in insert mode. Go ahead and delete date.
So now I am the insert mode.
Well, I would have left that part on, but you know,
that's too late to know. All right. So now how do I paste?
Control Shift V if it got copied, so it doesn't look like it got copied. You can also go up to edit and see if the paste in there is working. Go ahead and insert mode again. Do edit, paste. Nope, it didn't get copied into your buffer.
Let's
Right.
Let's just go back here. So I need this. Wait a second.
Yeah, I usually just use my cursor to highlight it and then go to copy.
I just need that local.sh, right? And I do. It's just that one line, right? Is that what I'm doing? I guess I'm a little lost. So
No, you're fine.
copy.
Yeah, you're adding one line. I can't say that.
I'm adding the check.sh.
Yep.
Oh, so I can, oh, okay, hold on, that's where I got lost. So I need to PWD where the check is, right?
Yeah, I don't know where you
Oh.
put your check.
Alright, that's, okay, I'm good now, I think. File. So I need
Oh, I forgot to reset.
So there's my check, and I'm just gonna do that you did that every minute, right?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, alright, I'm good now. I got it figured out. Finally. Alright, tab.
Well, there's a lot of moving parts here.
Yeah. Alright, so now let's see.
Okay, we'll give it a minute and then we'll check for the process again.
Okay, so now I've got that in there. So now I should be able to just watch my cron log, right?
Yep. There we go. And we can see mine started up. So starting it up.
Oh, that's right, it's, yeah, the Echo.
Prints off my file that I'm connecting to.
So root bad guy hacker file check sh. So I should just see a
Well, I had echoed my word count, right, and it was 0. And so then it says starting it up, and this is the file that we're using. And then it shouldn't start it up the next time, right? The next time it should be like, the word count should be 1. So it wouldn't start it. And we would see the 1 being printed there.
I started it, but I didn't get my Echo, so.
Did you do the output redirection to the log file?
Yeah. Let me check my.
So I'm watching it. Come on, baby. And it didn't execute it.
What's your
It executed It executed the date. Didn't execute.
Do cron tab -L.
Control C. I think that's what I think, because it's in there. I know it's in there. I didn't make it executable. That's I think what.
Yep.
So.
You can do chmod.
So
Echo is in the F loop.
chmod ugo plus x.
/root / bad guy hacker file / check that. Usually doesn't have a dot, right? Or does it?
Oh, it should have a dot there.
Oh.
That also caused me a problem. So many things. Okay, here we go. Check.sh. Nope, that's the wrong one. Okay, I need to go to my cron.
If you
Well,
have,
make that executable.
Make that executable.
chmod 777.
if you
chmod.
have it open, like the log file, will it still append to it?
Only 3 sevens.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so you gotta do tail. You
Did
can't
you
do
install
VI.
the new?
VI
Yeah, I
loads
did,
once.
but I have a
tail
problem
will
here,
keep
so-
reading.
That was my problem.
I need to get my cron correct, Should be a dot.
Copy paste failed. You know.
So I got a dot there.
It's starting it, but it's not doing the Echo.
Oh, no, not correct.
Build it, but then it started it again.
So I got that.
But
So it should run now.
Should be correct.
So you gotta look at your cron tab to see your echo.
Okay.
Your cron tab.
Now we see if it happens. Using it's doing it a lot. What's it doing at a time?
Well, that's your.
That's my
Your other thing. It's not.
Back up.
You're gonna You're gonna fill your thing up. That's probably your local .sh.
My local SH file is messed up, right?
Yeah.
I got that same
So
problem.
what did you want to do?
I was like, my
So that's the
yeah.
file that you.
So how did you fix it? Or
I have not messed with it though. I think I have like a type this.
why does it do that?
It's like it like a. Where
Oh,
do you
never mind, that
let
is
it
an
say?
echo, okay.
Yep.
I was thinking it would print an echo to the
Why would it
console.
run a ton like that?
Oh, okay.
Is mine different than yours? How's mine different than yours?
Here's my one.
So you got your file, okay, you got your if, not if, file, then user, bin, profile, kill all. Oh, it's because I had to comment out the kill all.
Yeah, but you shouldn't need to do that.
User bin, hat file,
I'm guessing this is.
bin
Where
back,
it started.
no, 6 to file, remove file. Mine's the same thing, right?
If you just run local.sh, does it?
Go normal?
Did you wait long enough? Cause mine took.
Well, his was like creating thousands of files.
Oh.
Oh, so you're getting another error, which is why it keeps creating them. So you already have. So that kill all might actually be.
It's probably necessary because now I need to kill local SH and